Hi everybody, welcome to the South Australian Sports Show. I hope you can stay with us for the next hour. Plenty to talk about on the show. So I welcome my co-host Greg Anderson. Ando, how are you?
Very well, thank you. And hasn't been an incredible weeks of sport. We've got the AFL and of course the Commonwealth Games, and of course you've been a Commonwealth Games representative in the basketball, so you know all about that sort of stuff.
Do you like the Com Games? Are you into the Com Games?
I love it. We just embrace it, Australia. We embrace it, and I just think it's absolutely fantastic. And it's you see some just outstanding athletes going to the to that next level, and the performances have been fantastic.
It's funny, isn't it? Because there's so many great things that happen. There's always things over the course, be it the Olympics, World Championships, Commonwealth Games, that I reckon you find funny. I was listening to someone the other day saying, "Oh, the swimmers are having trouble in the water because it's raining." Now,
well, that's something I would say.
As a non-swimmer, you kind of go, that doesn't really make any sense to me because you're in the water.
Water.
How is rain really affecting that? Well, the roof's not on, and that's a real problem for the backstrokers. But it's because they sight the roof lines to go with their stroke, and of course, with no roof, very difficult. That's why you see so many of them on the lines. But I'm going, the rain's been a real problem for them. I can see it being a problem for the spectators, but it was
the only one. The only one. You can't get any wetter. I'm pretty sure you can't. But
do you have a favourite? Do you have a favourite event?
I love athletics. I love athletics.
Well,
I love the hurdles, and I love the sprints and the jumps. I'm really enjoying basketball at the moment. I love it. I know that the Australian men are doing wonderfully as well as the women, but I know we lost that fifth game in the Australian Championships, but wasn't that exciting? 2-2, going to that fifth game, and
we wanted the Sixers to get it, and they couldn't quite.
But it was great for basketball, though.
It was fantastic.
I love it, and I was really looking forward to watching the Australians play basketball. It actually, as much as I've watched it and played it, many times as a junior, and but I learnt so much more, of just watching the very best play basketball, and I really have enjoyed it.
Yeah, there's no doubt it is great. Look, I hope you can stay with us for the next hour. Dragon Boat coming up. We've got the Southern Footy League, Com Games, Tri-Athletes, and I myself debating things in sport. Hope you can stay with us.
Thanks guys. Now for this week in news. Scotch College's Alex Porter is one of many South Aussies bringing home a gold in the Commonwealth Games after blitzing his opponents in men's cycling. Porter's record-setting gold was matched by an abundance of fellow South Aussies, most notably Stephanie Morton and Alex Manley. Morton and Manley both put on a masterclass for their opponents as the Aussie cyclists continue to put on a show in the velodrome. Rio champion Kyle Chalmers has also claimed gold despite the shocking 100-metre loss to Scotland's Duncan Scott earlier in the week. Mitch Larkin, Kate Campbell and Clyde Lewis were just a few other Aussie swimming champs. Staying in the Gold Coast, and Australia is still battling despite the shock withdrawal of star hurdler Sally Pearson. Pearson, who many dubbed as a gold medal certainty, ruled herself out after reporting an Achilles tendon injury. However, the Aussies are still eyeing off a gold haul as they continue to bring in the medals, mostly in swimming and cycling. The Aussies will be hoping to stay at the top of the medal table to claim their 15th Commonwealth Games victory as they wrap up this weekend. Both South Australian footy teams are smiling this weekend as Port and Crows each remain on the winners list. The Power narrowly escaped a loss to the fast-finishing Brisbane Lions, while the Crows got a comfortable win over the Saints. And both teams have interesting matchups next week as the Crows will take on Collingwood at home and Port will travel to Victoria to face the Bombers. The Matildas are battling it out in the group stages of the AFC Women's Asian Cup as they take on the best of Asia in Jordan. Australia looked strong in their first match against South Korea, however could not capitalise on their dominance, with the final result ending 0-0. The Aussies will be looking to showcase their talent as the tournament doubles as a qualifier for the Women's World Cup in France next year. Adelaide United have fallen to a strong Sydney FC outfit who once again proved too good for the Reds. Sydney's strikers outclassed the United defence to lead their side to a 3-0 victory. Despite the loss, United have locked up a post-season spot and will be hoping to take some momentum into the finals with a win against the Wanderers this weekend. The Australian women's ice hockey team will remain in Division 2 after falling short in the quest for promotion in the World Championships in Maribor. Despite enjoying wins over Mexico and Slovenia, the Aussies couldn't get past the dominant Netherlands side, who ultimately went on to win the tournament. Natalie Ayres of the Adelaide Rush repped the green and gold for the first time and didn't fail to make her mark, displaying a range of impressive ice skills throughout the tournament. And that's all for news this week. Back to you boys.
Yes, thanks for that, Ash. Good news coverage. Time to get to the AFL, Ando, and the tipping master, Bevan Jones, joins us. 6 last week, Bevo.
Yeah, not too bad. G'day, Andy. G'day, Smithy. I feel a bit of a goose, though, because I picked Carlton to beat Collingwood and started off okay.
They started very well. 3 goals.
After that, it was all over, wasn't it? So,
yeah, well, it's impressive you only feel a bit of a goose. Mate, Friday night is a big one. Crows in 3rd spot, Collingwood in 14th. They met round 19 last year, and I don't know if you can remember this. Crows were down by 38 points at half-time against the Pies.
Yes.
Storm back, and it's a draw.
Yeah.
Will it be like that on Friday night here at Adelaide Oval?
McGovern kicking the winning goal after to draw the game, wasn't it?
Yep.
After the siren, yeah. I don't think so. I think the Crows will be too strong for the Pies, but the Pies should get a few players back this week because I know that Jamie Elliott and De Goey both played well in the VFL last week, and that'll be a good couple of inclusions for the Pies. But the Crows at home will be too strong.
The Pies played very well last week. I watched the game, and Carlton were playing champagne football really in that first probably 20 minutes. Then, Collingwood just really got it together, and I thought their ball movement was very fast and very quick. And I'm only saying that because of I was down at the game last weekend of Port Brisbane, and it was basically how far. I mean, even Port's official was saying 10 goals over Brisbane, and that obviously wasn't the case.
Yes,
Collingwood weren't that bad.
Yeah, it was interesting, wasn't it? Because and it's something that a lot of coaches tend to do now is playing those small forwards. And we saw, of course, Thomas. I've forgotten his first name. Josh Thomas, that's the one. Yeah, he was out of the game for 12 months, of course. Kicked 5 goals for the Pies, and it's his career best. And he showed that he's a really good player for them. And it was interesting as well. Sidebottom kicked a couple of goals for the Pies, and those small forwards are starting to really come into the game, aren't they?
And Gibbs has been good for
the Crows, and Eddie Betts, of course. That small forward. Look at Richmond last year when they won the grand final. It was all the small forwards that did it, wasn't it? So
it was. All right. I'll catch up with Sam Jacobs later in the week and tell him his history. Small forwards are the way to go.
Don't worry about it.
Don't need the big sauce anymore. Saturday, GWS there in 2nd spot, Fremantle in 10th spot. Now, they met round 19 last year. I know 6 months is a long time in footy. GWS won that one by 12 points, but again, they were down by 15 points against Freo in the last quarter. This one, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, Freo are playing some good footy at the moment, of course, beating Gold Coast last week, the Essendon the week before that. But GWS, I think, will be too strong. Losing to Sydney last week in a close one, I think they'll bounce back, especially at home. I think they'll be too strong for Freo, but it should be a good game of footy.
And it was interesting that Ross Lyons said that Matt Fyfe's in the best career best form as well. So, it's pretty important when you got your captain and a superstar playing as well as he's at the moment. Other players, grow with that.
That's right.
So GWS for you or Freo?
I'm going Freo.
Freo?
Yeah.
All right, okay, I'll make a note of that. Ando's lost his mind. Richmond in 9th spot, the Lions in 17th. They're at the MCG. The Lions were very, very good. Oh. You touched on it last week. Richmond a little up and down, but they're coming. The Tigers are coming.
Yes.
What do you think?
I'll tell you what, Smithy, I nearly had a heart attack at the game last Saturday between Port and Brisbane. It was not only so hot, but Brisbane was just fantastic.
How fast were they?
They were so fast.
That camera was outstanding.
He's made a massive difference. No doubt having Hodge in the back lines as well. Oh. They're starting to really improve, and they'll do a bit of damage this year and really surprise a few sides. I don't think they'll play finals, but they're definitely on the right track, Brisbane, and Chris Fagan's got them playing really good footy. I think Richmond will be too strong, though. They got to some good form last week with their win over the Hawks, and Richmond will be too strong over there at the MCG.
Yeah, Richmond too strong.
Richmond for you?
Yeah.
All right. Bulldogs, they finally got one. 16th spot, Sydney in 7th. They met twice last year and it was split 1 each. The Doggies got them at Etihad. Sydney got them in Sydney. This one's at Etihad. Can you see them getting the Buddy Franklin Sydney machine?
No, I don't think so. I think Sydney's playing some good footy at the moment. I know they lost to Port a couple of weeks ago, but they got back to their best against GWS last week. Buddy only kicked a couple of goals, and what was interesting was that there was all that talk about Sydney too Buddy conscious, and last week we saw Sinclair popping up with a couple of goals, and we saw Sam Reid doing the same. So I think Sydney, if they can have contributions from those guys, I think they'll be too strong for the Dogs.
Ando?
Oh, yeah, Sydney.
Sydney for you?
They're going very well.
All right, North Melbourne sit in 11th spot, Carlton in 18th spot. They're playing in Hobart. Now, the last time Carlton beat North Melbourne, round 18, 2014.
Oh, wow.
So it's been a while.
Yeah.
I can't see it being any different.
Isn't it funny about these hoodoos? Of course, last week you saw Melbourne finally getting over the Roos after 12 years. Yeah. Can you believe it? So not quite as long as that hoodoo, but yeah, I think the same kind of thing again. I think the Roos will be too strong for the Blues, and the Blues were just very disappointing after those first few goals they kicked last Friday night against Collingwood, and yeah, I can't see them beating the Roos.
No, North Melbourne for me.
North Melbourne for you?
Carlton
Yeah.
That'd be disappointing.
Where are Carlton? I mean, you know, I watched last night Chris Judd on TV talking about, you know, they had 42 changes since in the last 3 years.
It's amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
If you're a supporter of theirs, what are they offering? Stick with us, we're going to get better. 100% sure, because you can't get any worse.
Nice.
You know, just such a great club for so long to be so far back. Do they deserve Friday night footy games?
I don't think they do at the moment until they start performing better, Smithy.
It's been a long time though. It's not like hasn't just happened overnight. They've been a very average side for quite a while. Probably, I mean, Brett Ratton sort of got them into some sort of line there for a couple of years, and then of course, you know, Moldhouse came into the fray, and that was a bit of a debacle, and they really have been since. You know, so and I know it's more than just the coach, but obviously the structure at Carlton's just not right.
And you think about
I'm
it,
a Ratton fan. I think Ratton was harshly dealt with.
So do I.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
and then all the players they've lost over the years as well. Look at the Crows have got now Gibbs, Jacobs and Betts all from Carlton. You've got Jared Waite playing at the Roos. You know, the list goes on. We could probably have a whole team of ex-Carlton players that are playing in the AFL now quite easily.
Probably do pretty well. Saturday night too, Eagles are in 5th, Gold Coast in 6th. They've got off to a flyer this year, the Suns. Met last year, this will surprise a few of you, the Suns won this one by 3 points.
Yeah, I remember this game. That was at Metricon last year. And the Suns are playing some really good footy at the moment. I know they lost to Freo last week, but they're actually, you guys know they're actually staying in Perth the whole week?
Yep.
Yeah, so because they've got those 2 games in a row. So we need to see how they acclimatise to the conditions and how that goes for them. I think this is going to be a pretty close game, but West Coast got back to their best last week with their win against Geelong. Whilst obviously Gary Ablett went down, there was a couple other injuries to the Cats. West Coast did play some really good footy in that last quarter, and I think they'll take that forward to this game against Gold Coast.
Yeah, West Coast.
West Coast, all right. But there's a couple other games. Hawks and Melbourne, Geelong and St Kilda. We won't worry about those right now because we're running out of time. Essendon and the Power playing at Etihad. Now, just for your information, boys, they met round 12 last year. Essendon won by 70 points.
I went to this game, Smithy. That was horrible.
It was horrible?
Yeah.
Not going to be the same this time?
Well, I hope not, but I'm really concerned. I just really think Port's missing Ryder at the moment, and I know they're talking about getting Frampton into the side or young Hayes, but last week, Stephen Martin just butchered Port, and we were lucky to win that game.
50 tap-outs and 30-something possessions for a ruckman is just unheard of.
It's incredible,
But also the other side of that, you're taking Dixon out of the forward line, which break that up, and they had tremendous rebound from their half-back line.
That's right.
So it really, and I know it worked against Sydney, but this is a very good ruckman.
Bill Chambers.
I watched the Port Gunnell match last Friday night, and Frampton was very, very good. I think they have to run with him. Yeah,
they have to give him a go, and I think he'll do a good job. But I'm concerned about this game because also Sam Powell-Pepper's had a bit of a week to forget, hasn't he? But Essendon, from the same perspective, had Conor McGregor, Conor McKenna, who's that potential biting incident. So it's a 50-50 this one.
So it's going to be a draw, is it?
Yeah.
All right. Stay on the fence, mate.
I think Essendon just. I don't want to go against Port, but I think Essendon just.
I think Port will win. I think they probably learn a little bit from what happened last week, that they do need a dedicated ruckman to get in there. I mean, at the end of the game, if Westhoff was in the ruck, they would have probably nearly lost against Brisbane. Westhoff's covers such important spoils when the ball went into the goal mouth of Brisbane. You've got to have your players in their best spots.
Yes, I agree.
Stay with us. Still plenty to come on the show.